what happens when you have Bessie look after Polly's new snail? About what you would expect. How's everyone doing today, guys? My name's T-Codes, and this is Amphibia, episode 38A, Bessie and Micro-Angelo. Yeah, that's a cute title. So yeah, this is a fun episode. It's a fun episode. I like the angle it went with for kind of getting ready for the final temple, because part of this episode is the family getting ready to head to the final temple, while we see Bessie looking after Micro-Angelo, because at the beginning of the episode, Hop Hop asked Bessie to look after him and kind of like teach him, how to be a snail. And because, Micro-Angelo is a baby, basically. He's young, he's joyful, he gets easily distracted by nearly anything that he finds interesting, which of course is tough for Bessie, because anyone who's been in a position to look after a little kid knows that it's not exactly easy to keep him in one spot. So she gets into situations where she has to save him from something, and it leads to her being stressed out. But I do like how they do it. Like, they don't have her. I like how they don't have Bessie be fully hating Micro-Angelo at the start, and they don't have Micro-Angelo being like some kind of bratty kid at the start. And that's, again, because you've seen tropes like that. You see where you got the older person acting like a jerk, and the little kid acting like a jerk, and the repercussions are usually towards the older person because the older person's been in charge. Where in this case, yeah, Bessie wants to protect Micro-Angelo, and Micro-Angelo, he likes Bessie. Like, he does grow an attachment to Bessie, but he's still a kid. So again, it's not because he wants to really be a rule breaker. It's just the fact that he doesn't really understand things yet, because again, he's a kid. I'm gonna say that a bajillion times, aren't I? So that's kind of like the main plot of the episode, and the subplot with the group getting ready to go. Marcy acknowledges a rather a fact that I haven't acknowledged. So, okay, let me start that again. So the subplot of this episode is Anne getting a makeover, or basically an outfit change for the third temple, because Marcy suggests that Anne should get at least some battle or get some type of armor, so that way when they head to the final temple, it'll be okay, she'll be fine. And I haven't really acknowledged the fact that Anne has basically had the exact same outfit for the entire series up to this point. It's been her school uniform with her one shoe and her messy hair. It's like, that's been Anne the entire series so far. I mean, we've had a few episodes where she changes it up, but this is, it's her main look. This is her main look. And obviously, the reason for that is pretty much like any other character design. It's easy to keep one design of a character consistent throughout the series and only changing it up here and there because, it's easier to do that budget-wise. So Anne, of course, is kind of terrified to get a makeover, and I kind of did like this, how she has a flashback to when back in the human world, when Marcy and Sasha tried to give her makeovers, and it usually involved her hair, and it definitely didn't go well. So I understand why Anne is afraid to change her look. And yeah, so that is kind of part of the episode. It's just Anne getting this makeover. Marcy brings in this utopian model or designer, this utopian designer, to give Anne a new look. And there's a few of the outfits they give are pretty Easter egg ish. Like, there's one where she's kind of covered in this bone armor that kind of reminds me of, I don't know, I saw this character, I saw an image online of, like, a Fortnite character that kind of had that, where it was, like, she had a skull head for armor, speaking of skulls, there's one where she looks like kind of like this. I think they call it like a wraith or a witch kind of thing, and her staff has a skull on it, and it kind of looks like this the skull that King wears in the Owl House. So nice little nod there, I'm gonna imagine. But again, the main focus of this episode is Bessie and Micro-Angelo, and yeah, that's such a. I get why Paulie named him that, but I'm like thinking, if you're gonna have his name be Micro-Angelo and you're gonna have him for more than one episode, it's like, what's his nickname? Is it gonna be? I pretty much just put M.A. in my notes after a point, because I'm like, I kind of got tired just writing Micro-Angelo over and over again. But yeah. But like I said, you know, basically the shtick at first is Bessie and Micro-Angelo are doing something. Micro-Angelo disappears. Bessie has to find him. He's usually in some kind of danger. Bessie saves him, and Bessie snaps. Bessie snaps at him. You know, basically kind of being like the older parent to the little kid. Like, what were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed. Are you freaking? And of course, we don't see any, there's no subtitles for Bessie or Micro-Angelo, so all we get are their expressions. And to be fair, it is kind of enough. But what's interesting about the two is, whereas Bessie, we don't really see her, like, actual eyes. Like, it's kind of like closed like this, but she still gets expressions with it, and she is very, you know, like, when it comes to her color and her, like, actual design, it's very basic, it's very clean. Whereas for Micro-Angelo, it's more expressive, more colorful, because one, you know, like I said before, he's a kid. Two, we actually do see his eyes, and you know, and again, he came from Utopia, so I guess it kind of makes sense that he's a rather more colorful snail than Bessie, which, if I remember correctly, Hop Hop got her at kind of like a auction, or horse or a snail auction. Yeah, I think that's the correct terminology for that. Any horse experts out there? Is that the correct terminology when it comes to horse auctions? I'm guessing not. The fact that I'm saying it like that is kind of bad. Okay. So Micro-Angelo, again, you know, even though Bessie snaps at him each time, she does kind of like comfort him, and, you know, basically kind of trying to teach him that what he did was wrong. But again, Micro-Angelo, being a kid, I'm gonna get tired of that. He continues to wander off, and his most recent attempt forces Bessie to take desperate action, because Micro-Angelo nearly got hurt this time, like extremely hurt, and so Bessie accidentally in the wreck wrecks the farm. Like, she destroys a few fences, she knocks over a couple of supplies that they were gonna bring on the journey, and eventually Hop Hop doesn't see Bessie saving Micro-Angelo, but rather Bessie just messing up. And so in his mind, he thinks that Bessie had way too much, he put way too much pressure on Bessie, and she's kind of going cuckoo. So he locks her in the shed, and it was, man, again, it's so interesting to see these type of episodes where, well, when it comes to Bessie, I mean, where versus like other characters where we had episodes of, she doesn't really, she doesn't talk. She's something that the family just uses to go places. But again, even so, we did get her backstory in that in early on with with Aunt Theft Auto. We got that one. And again, we've seen her so many times, so we know how much to the family she means to them. So just seeing her chained up in the farm, locked up, you really feel it. You feel it. I mean, because one, she didn't mean to do the things that she do. Yeah, she didn't mean to wreck the place. She was just trying to look out for Micro-Angelo. But at the same time, you do kind of feel that anger of like being like, how could he do that? Like, how could he do such a stupid? Why would Hobbits do such a cruel thing? And understandably as well, Bessie is kind of mad at Micro-Angelo as well, because again, he really isn't listening to her, and so he really screwed up. And even though he technically doesn't really understand that yet, he understands that Bessie is mad at him, and so he doesn't, he's like, it's like, I made her upset, so I obviously did something wrong. And funny enough, something crazy happens where it basically is like a chain reaction where I think something catches on fire, and the fire is going to lead towards a case of boom shrooms that Polly set up. And it's right next to the cart and the house. So in other words, once the fire hits the boom shrooms are basically, it's gonna be like a nuke, in my opinion. It's a boom shroom nuke. So Bessie doesn't see it. Micro-Angelo sees it. He sees it, runs back to the barn to try and get Bessie, but of course Bessie's chained up, so all he can do, so Bessie basically convinces him that he has to take the bucket of water and put out the fire and save the family. And so at first Micro-Angelo was scared, but Bessie, kind of like gives him that encouragement. And so he goes, and you think it's gonna be him finally stepping up, finally, understanding what he needs to do, save the family, and then convince them to let Bessie go. Cue the giant bird that snatches him up. It's like it comes out of nowhere. I love it. Yeah, it comes out of nowhere. It's like in the Amphibia's Got Talent episode where Sprig was performing on stage with the fiddle and everything seems to be going fine, and all of a sudden he gets snatched by a bat out of nowhere. That's basically what happens here. And so with Micro-Angelo now being up in the air, Bessie pretty much has to unlock her. Basically, anytime I see anyone in chains, it's like, you gotta break out of your chains, you gotta dig deep inside of you and unlock that true. I don't know. So Bessie pretty much does that in revving up the engine style. You get the sound effect of the car engine, and so she breaks out of the barn, jumps in the air, saves Micro-Angelo, and they put out the fire together. And of course, Hop and the family are like, whoa. Anne is in full knight's armor, and she fell, and she's blind, so she has no idea what's going on. And she's like, I can't see. Someone give me context. But yeah, Bessie saves Micro-Angelo, and the two save the farm. And if you're wondering if there's gonna be an amphibian explosion somewhere, it's a bat, like in the Amphibia's Got Talent episode. I don't know why I said bird. The bat flies in the distance and then hits the ground, and then that's your explosion. I just love it. It's so stupid, but I love it. And of course, Hop realizes that, and like seeing the two together, and it's like very cute. It's very cute to see that. And then Anne makes a compromise with the armor after Sprig and Marcy got her out of the majority of the knight's armor that she was in. She kept the chest plate. She kept the mid piece. So like she now has a chest. She technically has body armor. That's basically what it is. It's only just her chest and back. So like, I mean, her arms are still free and normal. Her legs are still free and normal. But as Anne kind of described it, she doesn't want to look at herself in the mirror with a new look and say that's not her. So she sees herself with this one piece of armor and says, yeah, this is still me. I roll with it. And so, yeah. I think it's cool. I like the armor that she has. I mean, we've seen her in other outfits, but when it comes to actual, like, battle armor, this isn't that big of a stretch. I mean, compared to the other armors we've seen, you know, with Sasha's battle armor and Marcy's outfit, it's pretty interesting to see that Anne is the more simplistic of the three. But yeah, so the episode pretty much ends with them getting ready to go to the third temple while Bessie and Micro-Angelo, they go back into the barn and sleep, and you get this really cute little moment with their shell. They go back in their shells to sleep, and they're right next to each other. And then I completely forgot to mention this. There is this Bessie, when she was chained up in the barn, she looked at this family photo of the group. And, you know, you had Sprague, Hop Hop, and Polly with her. And if I'm correct, Anne was drawn in there. And so the episode ends with Micro-Angelo being drawn in there as well, which I thought was really cute. And I feel like at some point there's going to be Frobo. Wait, was there Frobo? Oh, no. Was Frobo in the picture? See, the thing about Frobo is, again, they built him up to be so much. And now he's kind of like this sub character again. I don't know. I mean, up to the point of where we're gonna be for True Colors, the season 2 finale, I hope he steps up. I mean, I hope it turns out he's kind of. I don't want him to be like a plot device in any way. I just want him to be a kind of a bigger character as they kind of built him up to be. I'm just saying. I mean, who knows? I mean, this is only season 2. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a season 3. If there isn't a season 3 and this ends here, if it ends at the season 2 finale, I'm just gonna say it. What the heck? No, I mean, whether it's whether it's Mad or if it's Disney, that'll be bad. But I'm just being spectacle about it. Spectacle? Why? No, I don't. I'm sorry. Words cannot come out of mouth. Yeah, so, okay. So in terms of this episode, like I said before, I thought it was a fun episode. I really like the idea of it actually focusing on Bessie like this. I noticed that, yeah, these past couple of episodes, you know, they focus more on the side characters way more than they focus on the main characters. Like, in the first season, it was more, you know, like you had your main characters, and then you would work with the side character, and then you work the side characters into the episode, and you learned about them together. Whereas this, it's basically you kind of start with the side characters, and like the main characters like are in the background, kind of being like, yeah, we're here, you know. It's like Frozen 2 or Toy Story 4, where, you know, you have your main story going on with Elsa, you know, Elsa trying to figure out this power, this magic and prophecy and this backstory, whereas Woody was trying to, you know, figure out his purpose and working with Bo Peep. And then you have your characters in the background basically like, hey, we're here, we're in this too, you know, because reasons. I mean, those two movies, it was like, you didn't really need them, whereas Amphibia, it's like, well, they do have a plot going on there. It's just, it's nice to focus on some plots, you know, it's nice. So, yeah, okay, that's about it. That's all I got for this episode, so hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. I'm not asking, I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next one.